What's up, my dumb bitches that are also bananas, because we need to keep it fruit themed around here. This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, I was ready to do a nice roasty toasty little video. I even had a zinger of an intro all scripted out and everything. That is until I fell into a little bit of a Twitter hole with hashtag COVID-19, you know, and all related articles. Needless to say, I was feeling a little bit down after that, so I called a couple friends to check in on them, and I highly suggest that you guys do the same. And then I went ahead and tuned in over to my YouTube subscription feed, and what did I see? Let's talk about a good movie since the world is falling apart. The world is scarier, so laugh at more memes with me, and let's talk about what's happening in the world while I use makeup, starting with only the letter I. Now, while I love a good clapback video, and believe you me, my mouth is watering, and I will end up addressing it in a future video, I figured that in the grand scheme of things, maybe that's not necessarily the energy that I want to go ahead and put out into the universe today. However, I will be streaming tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time over at twitch.tv/agayguyplays, so if you got something to say to me, say it to me there. Just keep in mind, I will treat you the way that you treat me. So, be respectful. Regardless, today we're going to be taking a look at all of the exalted weapons in the new meta. And this brought a little bit of a smile to my face because I was kind of shocked at how well some of these actually carried over. As you guys know, we have the armor and health scaling changes as well as the status effect changes to boot. Now, I do want to give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer because I did this live on stream and we discovered that, you know, there were certain Warframes that I hadn't touched in a while, ever since damage 2.9997, as well as, you know, the more recent changes. So I'll allure you guys to some sketchy builds that might not perform as optimally as I would like them to. Listen, I'm more than happy to admit when something I do is not quite right, but for those things that I believe strongly in, I do not budge. Let's go ahead and take a look at the poster boy of all of these things, Mr. Excalibur. Technically, it's Excalibur Umbra, but I just wanted to show off the sexy deck skin. So let's go ahead and jump on in. And this is actually where I started, because Excalibur's Exalted Blade was never like Terabad when it came down to high-level enemies. In fact, it was pretty good. However, the way that I kind of compare it to then and now is before it felt like, you know, cutting through cold butter. You had to put a little bit of work in there. However, now, yo, it feels like freaking melted butter. Now, you do have to use his radial blind, or radial howl, technically, on this setup. But as you can see, like, did y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw what I saw. When I say melted butter, that's what I mean by melted butter. Previous to this, it was never that intense. It was never that intense. It took a couple like extra hacks, but yo, like this feels crazy good. And I'm sure that a lot of, you know, the Excalibur mains out there are, you know, jizzing their pants, because I would be. So keep in mind, I am using Chromatic Blade, and I am using a little bit of a hybrid build. So let's take a look at what I've got going in there. I have Sacrificial Steel, Sacrificial Pressure. We have Prime Fury. You can switch that out for Berserker if you want a little bit less. Of course, Condition Overload, because we're rocking Chromatic Blade, which of course is going to go ahead and toss in a little heat. Because if you notice, I'm only running with the viral spectrum here. I've got Prime Pressure, Prime Fever Strike in there to kind of really push that viral. But as you can see, we've got heat, but it's not here. It's because I'm using a red color on the Chromatic Blade. So a lot of crit, and a big whole chunk in hell of status. And believe you me, this thing absolutely eats. And I was like, all right, if this is this good, I need to go ahead and check out everybody else's. So I'm gonna save like the worst for last. When I say the worst, I mean like the worst because maybe I couldn't optimize that build. But let's go ahead and move into something that's a little bit sexier, which of course is Miss Ivara. Look at her. We got Stygian Zinogre over on Monster Hunter World, and you know what? It looks dead like it. Now, I have two different setups on here for it. I do have one with the focused augment, you know, the one where it's one explosive one instead of like all of the fan of arrows. And then I have another one that's just the fan of arrows because I kind of like the fan of arrows better in, you know, my personal opinion. But as you can see right here, like it's eating through them pretty well. It's eating through them pretty freaking well. And this isn't like a crazy power strength focused build or anything. You could probably even go heavier in on this one in order to make it deal even more damage. If you're like saying, listen, fuck all survivability, I just want to go ahead and slam through these targets. But yo, I actually really quite like it. I do, like I said, I do prefer this. I do prefer this to her, what do you call this? To the augmented one. But you know what? Both of them have their own... Look, did you see? Did y'all see he got chunked? He got freaking chunked. So for me, all in all, this was a nice change for this. So let's go ahead and take a look at this build real quick, and then we'll swap things around. So let me go ahead and toss in the augment for Ivara. I'm going to drop augur message for this one. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at Concentrated Arrow was the augments. And then on the Artemis bow, let's see. I don't know if I kept it on a separate slot. Did I? Yes, I did. So this is a very similar build. The first one is basically just a crit and status build. And then we tossed in Vigilante armaments. We again are using the Viral setup. Again, here we have just the Hunter's Munitions and the Viral on there. No Viral in there because, you know, we want to get as many triggers of that slash proc as possible. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that fares. And I know a lot of people really enjoy this one, so you know, good on you. But in my personal opinion, ignore that. That didn't happen. Oh my god, ignore that too. Oh my god, what am I doing? There you go. In my opinion, I feel like they're kind of like, I mean, you have to wait for the procs to go off. Because you know how, y'all know how I feel about those one-shot builds, but you gotta wait like 6 seconds for the slash procs to go off on. But you know what, I can definitely see the merit in this, because basically it's like a Kuva Brahma without the cluster bombs attached. And I know a lot of people really like that one. So, I don't know. It's up to you guys. Let me know which one y'all prefer down in the comments below. But with this kind of setup, you always got to kind of cross your fingers and hope you get lucky with the slash procs. Because you can see right there, once the slash procs start chunking in, it gets pretty nasty. Boom. Now, once again, like I was saying, all of the Exalteds really had some nice, hefty changes to them. I've got Mesa here, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't feel like this is the worst setup, but I don't use Mesa enough to really be like, oh, yeah. I haven't tested her in ages. Like, my old build for her was, I mean, it was great before the arcane changes. I don't know about it now. But I will say, toss this on there, that with this setup, I was actually, wait, does this one have the fire on it? Or did I change it? I don't remember. We'll see real quick. We'll see real quick if this one has the fire on it. If it does, then that's the setup that I'm going with. But even then, that was pretty gosh darn good. Is this the one? Is this the one? No, I actually don't have fire on this one. I believe that I dropped Magnum. I know, here's the thing, I get it. If you drop Magnum, it's like guaranteed damage, but sometimes the armor strip from the fire is even more worth it. And you know what? I'll leave it up to you guys to decide which one you ended up liking better, because you get to see both of them on screen as we speak. So let's go ahead and do this. But I just kind of felt like the extra fire was able to strip the armor a little bit better and let the base damage and the crits kind of like speak for themselves. So me personally, I like that setup. However, again, it's gonna be your build, so do whatever the hell you want with it, because it's not gonna affect my life in any way, shape, or form. However, I will say, you know, pretty damn good in my opinion. There you go. All right, so moving along to the next few. This is where shit starts getting shady, and okay, how do I put this? I asked for people on stream to give me some builds so that I could be like, oh, hey, this is like a good setup. And some other good setups I didn't necessarily like. I'm not talking about this one specifically, but I love me some Wukong. Wukong is feeling quite sexy with this update as well. All you got to do is, I'm not even going to use the twin. I'm not even going to use the twin. I'm just going to go Primal Fury up. They're going to get a little, oh, what in the world was that? Y'all saw that. I wasn't doing it. But as you can see, Primal Fury. Wait, let me do the little invisibility thing. Make them unaware. Chunk them down again. So that with some range on it, you're going to be able to clear out a whole bunch of enemies. And it makes me feel good. And again, we're not even using Celestial Twin with this, man. Like, so picture your Celestial Twin walking around with something crazy like this. Because I'm going to tell you what. It's going, like, I didn't even focus on him and he was already dead. Right? So all in all, I feel like Wukong and his big stick are going to be doing well with this update. Let's go ahead and take a look at the setup that I currently have for that one. And as you can see, again, of course, it's going to be kind of like, actually, you know what? I was going to say that, you know, it's like a hybrid build, but it's really not even a hybrid build. I wonder what would happen if I put a little critical on it. We'll save that for a different day. We'll save that for a different day because I'm good and happy with this. Again, we are using some Fyral on it. So, woo! Oh, woo! Kong. Sorry, I forgot to finish my sentence there real quick. Now, let's go ahead and move into... Ooh, because there are a couple that I feel a little like, I don't know how I'm up on that one right now. Let's go with Baruuk. Let's go with Baruuk maybe, or let's go with, where are you? Or Valkyr. Okay, let's go with Valkyr because I have a more solid thought on this. I have a more solid thought on how I feel about Valkyr's, about her Hysteria. And I'm gonna just say, honest to goodness, I feel like it needs a little help. It needs a little stat boost. It needs just a little bit of a stat boost, and I think it'll hold up just fine. Because it is really, it's fairly close range, and as you can see, it's having a lot of trouble, like, dealing with these ones. Again, I don't believe in the hit them and let them bleed mentality, because, I mean, we could sit here, and we could, like, hope for a slash proc, and hopefully let them bleed. But it's really not necessarily a thing. So, personally, I feel like, man, she's Valkyr. She's Valkyr. She's crazy cat lady. She's got to have really strong, intense claws. She is our Wolverine, and it doesn't feel like she's necessarily, you know, owning up to that. She doesn't feel like she's shredding as much as she should be. But I do want to point out one thing, just so that you guys are aware. Valkyr may be able to go through, like, lower level targets a little bit easier. But one of the things that I will point out, and I'm sure that people know this, you can use her paralysis attack to open enemies up to finishers. So if you've never used it before, let me go ahead and do that. See this? You can just do that and open them up to finishers, then they're dead. So you could say that maybe that's the balance for it, because, I mean, that's chunks of damage. That's a large chunks of damage that are being dealt, but a part of me also feels like it might intrude in combat a little bit more. What do you guys think? Let me know how you feel in the comments below. Do you feel like maybe this is enough? Oh, well, my ultimate just ran out, so we just gonna kill him. Let me know if you feel like it's enough for her to have paralysis and be able to, like, to basically finisher these enemies and that be a strong enough solution to her ulti, or if you feel like maybe it needs to be buffed a little bit more. I'm thinking maybe some range, maybe some bigger claws, I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at my setup for this. As you can see, we have a lot of critical chance there and just a little bit of status. I did want to go ahead and try and push it. We are using Fyral once again, and I even tossed in a little bit of Buzzkill. Again, I haven't necessarily used her in a crazy long time, and I almost wonder if maybe we should drop a couple things for like something like Condition Overload. We could definitely give that a shot. However, the build's a little tight right now, so I kind of want to just leave it as it is. We could probably drop Buzzkill and maybe toss in Condition Overload. Let me know if that fixes the problem for y'all, or if she still needs a little bit more of a boost beyond that. Now, this is where we get into territory where I really can't do too much about it. Baruuk. Now, he has had a recent augment, which of course is what is it called? Which is his reactive storm. The thing about it is I had to drop a couple mods from the build because, as you can see, this was an Umbral build. So this isn't necessarily the way that this build normally looks. I just kind of had to make do and slot reactive storm in there. This one's a little bit hard to navigate, if I'm going to be honest with you, mainly because of the fact that we don't have the Simularina, as you guys saw in the most recent dev stream. So what kind of ends up happening is that I just knock enemies all over the place. And I know a lot of people would say pause it, but if you pause it, that technically counts as stealth damage. So then we kind of get like the wrong read on this specific setup. I mean, I guess you could maybe say that lull puts them into, you know, an unalert state, but I don't know. So I'm gonna try the best that I can to kind of, you know, push him into specific areas. So I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like the setup is pretty good, but again, it's a little bit of a hard read when the enemies are flailing all over the place. So pretty damn good if I do say so myself. I even think that this performs better than Valkyr's setup. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, especially because you do have things like lull to kind of hold enemies into like tight groupings. You know what I'm saying? So all in all, I don't think that this is half bad at all, and it's actually pretty impressive when you think about the fact that this is ranged abilities, because you're going to be going through lots and lots of enemies with this, and the fact that it adapts to those enemies' weaknesses, it kind of takes less strain off of your brain when you're like, oh, do I need to like correct the elemental build on this? Yeah, just take it in and it'll figure it out for yourself. But as you can see, again, this was not necessarily the setup that I had originally. It's just that I kind of had to like shoehorn in a couple things. Like usually I don't use Berserker, but instead Prime Fury, because I like the consistency of all the combat stuff. But again, we are using Fire Roll because Lord save me, that shit is powerful as all hell. So that's my current setup with it. Then we get into the more shady parts. I think the only part that I really think is shady is the last one. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't used her in quite some time. Let me make sure that I haven't missed out on any of the other like formal, what is it called? Exalted weapons. Because the last one, of course, is going to be Hildryn's Balefire. And I consistently get told, oh my god, Balefire is so powerful, Balefire is so good. And I tried out several builds on stream, like the builds that people were giving me. And I was just like, I'm not really impressed. And you know what? Listen, I haven't played her in, well, I've played her, but like I haven't like played her, like seriously played her in quite some time because, you know, there's no difficult content in the game. So really, at the end of the day, I'm like, why am I going to be playing her if there's nothing that hard to go ahead and throw her at? But legitimately, I was playing around with their builds and I was like, I don't know if I like this. So I don't know, let me know if there's something that I'm missing. I don't know, maybe we need to include Armor Shred in this and just kind of like have that as a focus and say, I'm just gonna do one Armor Shred, okay? So this is one Armor Shred. So as you can see, okay, well that's not helping. Hildryn, that's also not helping. Dear Lord, sweet baby Jesus. It's okay. We'll try it again. We'll try it again. We have not come this far for this to be silenced like that. We got to try again. We're gonna go ahead and use her ulti too. We'll hold them up in midair. We'll go ahead and I'll do one armor strip. We'll hold them up in midair, and then we'll use the one. Oh, there are the friends. So there's the charge. What? Oh, maybe it's just the one armor strip. Is it just the one? No, I mean that one's not dead. Is it just the one armor strip that we needed? Is it just the one armor strip? Well, maybe that's all. No, I mean, maybe those guys didn't die because this one's not going down. Bruh, I'm using like, yo, I'm charging you all the way up. Maybe I gotta hit him. Maybe I gotta hit him multiple times. Let's try it again. Let's go ahead and try it again. Because if it's just the armor strip thing, then I guess I could see beyond that. Because we did use the stealth multiplier for Excalibur, and I kind of feel along the lines of like it's just fair to use them in combo, but isolated, I'm not really impressed. Let's use it isolated. I'm just tapping this, by the way. I'm just tapping it. Oh my god. Okay, come on. Okay, I'm gonna charge this one. I missed that one. Charge it. See, like, you see what I mean? So let's try it with the armor strip. Let's try it with the armor strip, and if that's all it takes to make it better, then you know what? We'll call it a day and we'll say successful as charged. But let's go ahead and toss that on there. So let's do armor strip. Let's do a little bit of this. Okay. No, it's just knocking them away. It's not necessarily killing them. It just knocked them away. Maybe I need to do a couple extra armor strips, yo? I don't know. But let's try that one more time. I'm really determined to like give this a shot because there's been people who've like been like, Rob, no, it's good, Rob. And I'm like, but is it? Is it really though? But is it really? Okay, here's a full charge. I mean, he's lower. He's lower. He's dead. Okay, where's the she? I hear you. They just died, so I don't know, maybe it really is that good. I didn't even need to shoot at them and they were dead. Maybe that's all it was. Regardless, let me know if that's how you guys have been testing it specifically, because I like to kind of like test these things on their own and see if they do well on their own. But clearly this does not want to be tested. You know, maybe we need to get some changes made. This is not conducive to a good working environment. Hold on, let's do another one. Yeah, no? I don't know. Maybe it's the Hildryn build. Maybe we'll have to go and revisit. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are doing with it. However, do keep in mind that this build that you see right now was a build provided to me by someone on stream. Like, they were saying, do this. So I did this. And I don't know. I'm still kind of feedback on that. But everything else looked really, really good. So for those of you guys, let me know down in the comments below, which was your favorite Exalted weapon? Are you excited to jump back into any of these frames and, you know, get your little feels on? But, of course, you want to wash your hands beforehand. Regardless, that about does it for me for now. I also implore you, please, go call your friends, check up on them, check up on their families, and make sure that everybody is doing good, because it's really interesting. This is like one of those things that are kind of like a terrible world thing, but also one of those things that have got me off my ass to talk to people that maybe I haven't reached out to in a little bit. Regardless, that about does it for me for now, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, unless they're assholes to you in the comment section first, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!